Hello, welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast with me, your host with the most, Matty T. And it's the same crew as last week. We've got Azo Young and Ali McKenzie. How are we, boys?
Doing good.
Not bad, thanks. How are
Good,
you?
good. I'm not too bad. How's your week been thus far?
Long waiting to get back to this.
Yep. It's the only thing that's keeping me
Your
going.
week,
these
your
days.
week revolves around the podcast.
Yeah.
So obviously last week we discussed the possibility of life's a simulation.
Yep.
We've done aliens. We've done Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time we're going to do more kind of about myths.
Urban
myths,
Yeah.
legends, things.
Mythical creatures.
Yep, things like that. It's going to have a bit of a variety this episode. I thought we start off with one that's very close to home with us, and that is the Loch Ness Monster.
Yep.
Now, we've all heard about it, we've all seen the famous
course.
picture, and there's been many sightings throughout the years. Obviously, the first sighting back in the 2nd of May 1933, that's when it first got dubbed the monster,
Yeah.
and we've all seen that picture. It's obviously quite
The
fake,
famous
that
one.
picture.
Aye.
Oh, it's come out as fake.
It's
is
come
it
out
not?
as fake, yeah.
Yeah.
But there has been.
Not sure if it was it did the guy who took the photo announce it as fake, or was it just debunked from
It was
other people?
debunked as fake,
Okay.
and obviously, it got debunked, and I think it might have admitted that it eventually was fake.
Yeah.
But there has been some interesting in the years. There's been people who have obviously, like, just normal people have seen sightings of it. Like, what do you think this whole Ness thing is real?
I don't know, because the first one that came out was fake, and then I think once it gets that sort of attraction and people go looking for it, you see what you want, if you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
feel me in that regard.
Yeah, your brain just convinces itself that it is there. Like, I can picture people looking at the waves and they see it. They probably do see a
Yeah.
wave and they just think, "Oh, I think I saw the top of it."
Yeah, that's the hump of
skirmishing.
its back or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, I do probably think there is, like, obviously the sea, like the water, is obviously very unexplored. There's probably stuff down there that we'll never know about, or at least not know about for a very long time. So there's definitely creatures out there. I think there is something, me personally, I think there is something in Loch Ness. Whether it's that monster, even if it was him, it's probably long dead by now. And it could have been the last of its kind, you never know.
Could be.
But, I mean, it goes back before 1933. I mean, there's been signs of it for like a very good while, like a few years before that. And that was 1933, that's when it first got the publicity. So there's been sightings beforehand. It's just that's when it started to get its fame. But I definitely think there is, or could be still something there.
I do remember they had a full on search in the loch, like underwater in in the early 2000s. I think it was 2001, and they found nothing.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to say because it's already set off a bad impression when the famous photo, is fake.
Yeah.
And if it was a creature, because the way that people describe it sounds like a prehistoric creature.
It does.
So the likelihood of it being alive now is very unlikely.
I mean, it could.
Well, I don't think that's actually true.
No.
No, well, if it's survived since prehistoric times, what's the extra couple of decades gonna do?
That's to say, if it is true, and if
Yeah.
it is prehistoric as well. I'm not saying it is prehistoric, but the way that it's described, it sounds
yeah.
like, and the look of it as well looks very prehistoric. So the likelihood of it even existing now is very, very small.
I know. I think it could, like I said, it could be the last of its kind. It could be a prehistoric creature that somehow survived.
Yeah.
And it could be the last of its kind, whatever. But, like, obviously, we don't know how long these lifespans, if it does exist, we don't know how the lifespan could be.
Because I don't know what the lifespan was of prehistoric creatures, if they could even last for hundreds of years or thousands.
Yeah, you never know. And obviously, there's this guy who's retired. We've seen the video. He's been up there for 25 years.
He got one glimpse of it in the beginning, and he thought, "Yes, we're on to something." And he's been there for another 25 years and seen nothing since.
Has a Guinness World Record of the longest search for the Loch Ness Monster. That he proudly hung up in his caravan. Yeah, he has a caravan. He's practically lives there now. I wonder if he's still there if we even go up.
Probably
might be there.
Yeah, I mean, why would you leave after 25 years? Why would you leave now? Like,
yeah, because he was quite an old guy.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Maybe.
Nah, he looked healthy in the video, didn't he?
I don't know when that video
Yeah,
was
when
posted.
is the video?
I doubt you probably get takeaways up there, but
Yeah, but I was saying this earlier, that's what retirement does to you. You're at that point where you've accomplished everything in life.
yeah.
Now you just have to kind of meander about. So why not go up Loch Ness
Yeah, why not? But I mean,
for 25 years?
he did see something his first year. He did see something there, like he saw almost as straight as like 3 torpedoes like in the water.
But as I said, like I was talking there, it's like it could be his mind just convincing him, because like what you said about torpedo, that could be someone just skimming rocks.
But he
across
would have
the
seen
loch.
someone, wouldn't he have?
Might have, but maybe he wasn't focusing on people, he was focusing on the loch, and he just saw the skimmings.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So there's been fairly few sightings of Nessie throughout the years. I think obviously there's a lot of evidence against it, like you said, they've searched for it.
Yeah.
There's been nothing there. But when you do go up there, like I've been up there myself a few times, and I know you have as well, you do get a kind of eerie feeling up there. Maybe it's just because the whole story's around it.
You probably just have the context in your mind.
Yeah.
In the mind of like a powerful thing, where like when you hear something, and again, we're just saying it, you want it to be true. You just kind of fill in the blanks yourself.
And they kind of embrace it as well for the tourism, basically. It's Nessie everywhere, so it's definitely, even if you didn't know it was, you wouldn't know it wasn't up there, to be honest.
No, you can't escape it. I mean, I haven't been in Loch Ness since I was about under 10 years old, but I do remember going to the shops and it was totally littered with Nessie, like terries and keychains and those fridge magnets everyone gets. Yeah. So it must do very well for the town, even regardless if it's real or not.
Like we touched on last week with Bonnie Bridge, they act in the alien stuff to try and get visitors in. It could just be that.
Aye.
But I mean, like you don't need to use that because up there it is. On the flip side, it is very beautiful up there. Anyway, you'd go up there to see the views, to see the loch, not even just for the monster, just for the nice scenic view, and you don't need that kind of tourism because they've got natural tourism there.
The amount of tourism, because it's an international thing.
Yeah.
Nessie, it's not just subject
worldwide,
to... Yeah.
You tell anyone about Scotland, their first thoughts is probably Loch Ness Monster.
Or whiskey.
And haggis, yeah.
I'm bro.
Willie from The Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Braveheart.
to conclude...
Sorry.
To conclude, it is obviously... There's evidence for and against it, but the evidence is extremely weak.
Yeah, very weak.
So...
Well, one of the most compelling bits was fake as well.
I know. That sets a bad first impression.
It does.
For most people, that the most famous photo is not real, and every other bit is basically speculative at best.
I mean, it's a very interesting legend. There's not much to it. Like you can discuss because there's like what you said. There's far and few evidence between it. It's not as if it's like definitive. Like here's a video. Like we're going to talk about Bigfoot. It's like actual kind of more evidence for that.
It's more detailed as well because like the main photo in Nessie is from the 1930s and this grainy black and white camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I've not seen any video of Nessie actually.
No, I mean
that I can know of.
I think there is some up there. But I don't think any of them are that convincing. Otherwise, it would have made news.
Yeah.
So, my opinion, I think there is something down there, or there was something down there, because I mean, there's got to be something that sparked it in the first place. You know what I mean? Like you can't just randomly say, "Oh, there's a monster in here." Like, there's got to be something that's obviously sparked it.
Well, the fake photo.
But maybe no. But there was stuff before that.
Beforehand.
That's why he kind of faked it in the first place. Because there was people talking about it beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's obviously something that sparked it originally before that photo came about. So I think there was something down there. It's probably long gone now.
Okay. Well, personally, I think there was nothing down there. It was mainly just either hysteria or just rumours.
Yeah.
Which usually that's how folklore mainly starts.
Yeah.
With especially back in like centuries ago when there was nothing to document anything apart from writing. Very easily, it could just be Chinese whispers. Yeah. It was written down, in a way. So that's my personal opinion.
Well, you never know, but evidence is weak. There's certainly nothing there now. If you got there looking for something, you're going to be disappointed, I would say.
What about you, Ali? What is your definitive opinion?
I am in the same boat as you. I don't think there was anything there. If there was a bit of folklore before it, I think it was just, like Hazel said, Chinese whispers, people seeing waves or some debris in the water and putting 1 and 2 together and getting 10. And then obviously the guy capitalising on it with a photo and creating the whole myth that's the modern Nessie.
Yeah. Like I said, there's probably I think it's sparked with something, but to say there's something there now, I don't think that it is. And I think I like conspiracy theories. I think I like to believe in these stuff, but I'm on the fence, but I would have to say there's probably nothing.
I don't think there's enough compelling evidence for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we'll move on now. We'll move on to our next urban legend myth. And that is, it's another one based in Scotland. It's
even a little closer to home.
Even a
than the
little
last
closer,
one.
even a lot closer. For you out there, we're obviously we're all in Glaswegian.
Train.
Half-hour train. It's based in the Gorbals, 1954. Yeah, it involves a group of young children and a vampire. It's the Gorbals vampire. Now, when you first think about this, you think it's ridiculous. Gorbals vampire. It sounds very satirical. It sounds very comedic, but it is quite.
Sounds like a Lemmy sketch.
It does. Basically, the background of this one is there was a story of or the man with the iron teeth, or was like a kind of a vampire in the Gorbals area of Glasgow, and he kidnapped two children. There's two different stories actually. There's one that he kidnapped two children,
or he killed two children.
Killed two children. But the children at the time, like, who was it? Because we're all here, so we don't know who it was. Oh, it must be someone from a different street or whatever. And so all these kids went into the graveyard and went hunting for it, and that's basically the kind of story.
Yeah, the headline: hundreds of children.
Hundreds of children went.
Well, it did spiral out of control to the point the police had to get involved.
Yeah.
Well, there's legislation that came from it that's still there today. Which comes from what might have been the thing that started all of this, which is a comic book.
Yeah, the vampire with the iron teeth.
Yeah,
it fits the description of what the kids were saying.
It does.
So again, especially a child's mind, like putting two and two together, they see the description of something in the comic book and they might have seen a shadowy figure that resembled it and just like took it from there. That's what kids do. And you didn't even remember the Gorbals as well. That in the period of 1950, it was a very run down area, and it was covered in total like charcoal smog in that look. So your eyes could be easily manipulated with shadowy figures near the graveyard. As there's a video online with some of the kids who are now way older now, obviously, interviewing the experience, and they said they thought they saw the shadows, but it was shadows from people up the graveyard. Yeah. But because shadows like obviously look much bigger than the figure themselves, it probably just propelled in the kid's mind that it was a vicious creature in the graveyard.
7 foot vampire.
7
foot was it?
I think it says 7 foot.
Yeah, 7 foot, which is quite big.
Yeah.
Virgin and Bigfoot territory.
Virgin and Bigfoot territory. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is nothing more than that's nothing more than a story. We've pretty much covered everything there.
Children's imagination.
Yeah. I mean, there's no sort of evidence as to like how it came about. No one cited the vampire. Nothing. It's just it was a rumor that speculated into a load of kids descending on a graveyard, and then
for 2 days.
Yeah.
The police couldn't do anything much about it.
And then Parliament got involved and said no more harmful comics, which they believed was the cause of it all.
That's the key word, believed. It's never actually been proven that it was this comic book that sparked it. So there could be a vampire still in the Gorbals.
Well, it's called the Harmful Publications Act, I think it is. Yeah. Because I think comic books had to have like a seal of approval.
Yeah.
Like you see on CDs nowadays, they say like parental advisory, something like that. I don't know. It was still it was still a rule to this day.
I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, children reading harmful comic books that.
And
like imagine children reading Deadpool, for example. That could be harmful to them because it's full of violence and.
Could be, but at least that harmful didn't form a gang of kids to go out and hunt for someone in the Gorbals.
Looking for the man with a face like a walnut.
And what makes me like more curious about it, if they said if the two children who were killed were actually killed, then who actually killed the two children? Then?
That's true. Is it a vampire? Is it some sort of killer, like serial killer? It
might have been. he saw the story of the vampire. He goes, "Oh, perfect! This is my chance to escape." Exactly. They'll just go hunting for this 7 foot man. They'll never suspect me.
But the fact that I think it is just a story is like two children been kidnapped or missing. They've never been named. It's just two children. That's it. Nothing more.
Maybe they were named, but I didn't see anything about the children named.
Well, the evidence on it's quite sparse as well, actually.
I know, because children are not the most reliable source of information. Especially when the source of information of the killer is a 7 foot vampire with iron teeth.
Exactly.
And of course the parents will just dismiss that. Like, oh, the kids are just talking rubbish. It's just one of their silly games.
And it literally was a comic book. Literally was called The Man with the Iron Teeth.
The Vampire with the Iron Teeth.
Yeah. So I mean, literally, they've literally just.
I think when they found the comic, I think it's closed from there.
I would agree with that. I think it is just that comic book.
But just like Nessie, it's a fun wee like.
It is a fun wee thing.
Just wee like cultural myth.
Yeah.
That was perpetuated You know, that's as I said, that's how kind of lore starts in urban legends.
But I think we can close this one. Case closed.
Yeah.
Like Nessie's a bit more open. Like there's a bit more kind of up for debate. But I think this one's an open and closed case. Still fun. I think
it was an interesting read.
It was an interesting read. And I think there's actually a mural now in Glasgow based off of it.
Might
up
be.
in the Garbles?
There is, yeah, because I seen when I was researching this, I actually seen it.
Oh.
And there's a mural in Glasgow now based off of it. Obviously, it just adds to the lore of Glasgow.
I need to go find that. I didn't even know that was.
Yeah. So obviously you've got Billy Connolly murals and that now. You've got the.
Maybe he was the vampire.
Maybe he was the vampire.
I mean, that would be a terrifying sight. It's like Billy Connolly, the way he looks now up the Gorbals.
And he did have black hair when he had to.
Blood.
You would. Probably his yellow iron looking teeth now. Oh man, that would be a terrifying sight. No offence to Billy Connolly, I like him.
But yeah, I think we'll move on. I think that's an open and shut case. Now we'll move on to the next urban legend, the next case, which again at some point links in with Scotland, and that is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. You can't have an urban myth.
You can't have an urban myth
without Bigfoot.
Exactly, and Bigfoot's been. There's many culture. There's many around. Basically, any country you go to, there's some sort of Bigfoot myth there. Like in Britain, it's Bigfoot. In America,
there's a lot of big myths about.
In America, it's the Sasquatch, the Yeti. There's ones I know there's a few in like Asia, and then Siberia, and that. Everywhere you go, there's this Bigfoot legend.
Particularly like a country that has like a high forest area.
So there must be something to this, and while researching this, we came across how many start with the biggest kind of, almost like the Nessie one, the video, the Patterson Gimlin video,
basically the most well known like media documentation.
And it's still not been proven to be fake. Like unlike Nessie one, it's still not been proven to be fake. I mean, when was that filmed? Like the 60s?
I think it was 60s, yeah.
The 60s it was filmed. It would be very hard to manipulate film then. And back then, I doubt they'd have the kind of suits we have now to put on.
Yeah.
But I think with the sort of poorer camera quality, you could get away with,
I suppose,
a less convincing suit.
Especially at that distance, where it's harder for like the camera to pick it up. It can be a bit more grainy, so you could get away with it more as well. If it was a pure costume, if it's at a distance and with that video quality, it's possible.
Yeah, but and it does look very directed as well. Like the way he walks, he looks back,
quick glance, unfazed.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's just like, there's
a group of people with this really weird device.
Why was he filming in the first place?
I know there's a lot of like questions around the video, as in like what made them film it beforehand? Why were they there? Were they there for hunting?
Yeah.
Why did they have a camera with them?
Exactly. I mean, it just maybe they were just there to film in nature, to try to do whatever, and then they just happened across this.
If that's the case, so where's the rest of the footage of that?
Maybe that was it. Maybe they saw that and thought, bang, we've got this.
Maybe.
There's two. Also, if you saw something like that, you wouldn't hang about, would you?
Yeah, but also like a point against the video, it seemed too like shot.
Well, it's been stabilised. See, the actual footage is quite.
Okay, I was about to say that, because see if you were to film something else, but you found something totally different, and you're in a panic.
Yeah.
If you were to film it, it'd be very shaky looking and not
the original.
Well handled.
The original footage is quite shaky. It's been stabilised.
Okay. So the one you showed us was the stabilised.
That's a stabilised one. Like obviously, it's back in the 60s. It's dead shaky.
Right.
It's been remastered, if you will, over the years and stabilised until we've got the video we all know today. But it's hard to disprove that one, because obviously, like we said, it'd be hard to get suits back then. But then on the other hand, even if you did get a suit, due to the bad filming, you could get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think, obviously they've got fame from it now, the people who filmed it, and...
Well, one of them's dead.
One of them's dead, yeah. But if they're looking for fame, they've certainly got it. I mean, that is the Bigfoot video.
Well, were they interrogated, the people who filmed it?
I didn't see interrogated, but they were saying that they deny any sort of hoax.
Okay.
But also on top of that, the person that originally filmed it was actually looking for Bigfoot when he filmed it.
Right.
It was it said online that he'd been looking for it, or gained interest in it, like during the 50s.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they were doing a nature documentary and they stumbled across this creature. They were, out looking for it, which makes you which makes me a little more
skeptical.
Yeah, that he happened to come across it. Maybe that he'd been trying for so long and thought this wasn't the get famous quick scheme that I thought it was, so now I'm gonna
I have to fake this.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, the fact he was looking for it, pitch big question marks over it, but I mean, I'd like to believe it, but the evidence against it, I mean, there's little evidence that is fake, there's little evidence that it's not fake. I mean, you're clutching at straws for both. I mean, it's hard to disprove or it's hard to prove it, but I think the little evidence against it makes me think it is fake, and the fact that it was, like you said, he was out looking for it, and it makes me believe it is fake, but it's still a very good fake, even if it is. And it's obviously brought a lot of attention to possible real Bigfoot sightings. It's got a lot of people interested in it. And what do you think, Azo?
I'm aware like half and half of this one. I'm more leaning towards it's not real, but I'm not totally ruling it out because some of the evidence I have seen, I mean, it does look like some kind of creature. There was that one photo we looked at.
We did a little research.
I just meant that video. Yeah. Do you think that video was?
The Gimlin footage.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Footage, right? Okay, well I don't. Again, I think it is. I think for that Gimlin footage especially, I think it is fake.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to some other evidence that could support
I got
Bigfoot.
A bit
You got ahead of yourself
there.
I think we'll move on to obviously there's other footage. Right, I'll link this other footage in because I'm sure you all know the Patterson Gimlin footage we're talking about. I'll link this one in the description below on YouTube. I'm not sure if I can do it on SoundCloud as of yet. So keep that in mind. But it'll definitely be on YouTube. Whereas this is video that basically is almost not identical, but is a very similar feel about it. Basically, this guy is basically it's anonymous, so it's not like the Patterson Gimlin where it's actually from someone. This is just from an anonymous source.
That's a bit of a red flag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're basically this kind of creature.
But when you get a bit more context around it, it's not so much a red flag that they remained anonymous.
Yeah.
Because they weren't originally saying it was, a Bigfoot sighting. They thought it was some sort of orangutan.
No, that's the picture.
That's the picture. We're talking about the.
Oh, are you thinking footage? Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the footage.
Okay.
So this one's still anonymous.
So the footage they're both anonymous, but this footage basically I'm saying it's similar in the sense of Gimlin one because it gets him a feel from it basically.
Oh, I know, with a child.
Yeah, it comes out the right hand side, picks up his child or whatever it is, then looks at the camera for a bit, then goes off. It just looks very scripted, even the fact that the guy's not even reacting to it.
Aye.
Like obviously, if you were filming it, like, oh shit, what is that? What is that?
I know, especially if it's staring at you.
There wasn't any audio to it though, was there?
Not the one we saw.
I don't think it was audio, but the guys were talking over it, so I don't know. But I don't think there's any audio, but the fact that it's just, it feels very, and I think he was always kind of panning before he started walking.
Yeah.
And apparently in the video there's like facial expressions and the baby is moving on its own, but you can't even see that.
I couldn't see the facial expressions.
I couldn't see either.
That's the problem with it. See, especially with YouTube, when you upload on YouTube, it compresses the image so it can fit on YouTube, and it does it. You can't see any face. I can see a figure obviously, but not facial expressions. None that I saw.
I think this one, and I think they've done tests on it, and it's like 1% the same or something as the.
Oh, the creature's 1%. There's 1% difference between that and the Gimlin. One in the Gimlin footage.
So, is it the same suit? I mean,
yeah, maybe.
It's
but
the same team.
Like we were saying about Nessie, once it gets a bit of attention, there's a lot of imitators after that trying to capitalise on the popularity of it.
Yeah, I think this one is. I mean, I think that like the child. I don't know how you can explain that. It could just be. I could be anything he's holding, you know.
Could be.
I think this one is. I'm going to say. I think this one is definitely fake.
I will admit the creature cell does look a bit more believable in this video, mainly with the kid
Yeah.
carrying as well.
But also the reaction. It seems a bit more timid and wary of the sort of foreign creature of the human filming it, whereas the Gimlin's just like. I'm surprised it didn't like flick the bird to it. It's just so casual.
Yeah.
I mean,
it did look like when I was looking at the video, it looked like a gorilla though, on its legs.
It did look like a gorilla, and it could be a gorilla. I mean,
it could be.
But was it not shot in America?
Yeah, and they're obviously not native to America, unless he just snuck into a zoo.
Like
he's in an
escapes it.
enclosure.
Yeah. And he just forgot where he was, and he saw
And the fact
this big creature.
And the fact that he's saying it was a Bigfoot sighting and all that, and it just seems very staged to me.
And as I was saying, the anonymous source and the fact that it's still anonymous makes it even more skeptical.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next piece of evidence. I think that we can all agree that one is more than likely fake.
Yeah.
Now,
I still think it's more plausible than
More than
the
the
first.
first
it's probably
one,
more plausible than the Patterson Gimlin one, but
But there's still a lot of issues with it that it doesn't make me convinced.
I'm the same. The next piece of evidence this is probably the biggest Bigfoot evidence. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the footprints and that because they're kind of hard.
They're too easy to fake.
Yeah.
The footprint.
Yeah.
They are very easy. Like footprints, I mean, yeah, they're very easy to fake. So I won't talk about footprint sightings, but we'll talk about this picture that I'll link down in the description below. Again, I don't know if I can do it in SoundCloud, but
Link in bio.
link down there. Basically, this to give you some background on it. Again, anonymous source, but this one's anonymous because she put it to
The police.
Sheriff Department. Basically, this woman had been hearing noises and food time had gone missing from her kind of outside her house for a wee while, and she kept hearing noises. So she found out what it was. So when she heard these noises, she went out. It was pitch black. She went out with her camera, snapped a photo, and seen that horrifying picture that you can see now in the description. It's terrifying, and that looks very, very real. Like, in fact, and when she submitted it to the sheriff department, she put it. She didn't claim it was Bigfoot. She thought it was an orangutan, and asked if any had been escaped from the zoo recently or whatever. And she also wasn't looking for fame. Like, I think she genuinely shot that.
Well, the other reason she remained anonymous as well was because she didn't want anyone coming round hunting.
Yeah, coming around her house with guns and that.
Hunting for it.
You know what Mark is like.
Aye.
And like, when you look at the picture, right, you can actually see a glow in its eyes, and that would be, if you're wearing a mask, right, there's no way the camera would pick up the glow of your eyes.
Well, you would get a glow, but it would be sort of disrupted by the slint or the slits, of the masks. Whereas it's a sort of whole circular reflection from the eyes in that one.
Did it say when the photo was taken?
I think it was in the last few years.
Okay, because it could possibly be photoshopped as well. The flash in the eyes. I mean, that does make it more believable that there was an actual physical figure there taken from a photo than Photoshop. But you could easily Photoshop it because you can do a lot with Photoshop. And well, what you were saying before the podcast with the blue glow.
Yeah, it's like a blue kind of strip on it.
Yeah, that might be just for a weird white balance from the camera as well. Yeah. So it definitely proves that there was something there. It's whether or not it was Bigfoot. That's what the question is.
But she thought it was an orangutan, right?
Yeah.
But it looked too shaggy. It had very long hair, and orangutans. It looks nothing like an orangutan.
It's not from what an orangutan.
The weird underhang with its teeth as well that didn't seem native to the orangutan.
What makes it more believable as well, she reported it to the police first and not to a newspaper
article
or just the
online.
internet.
The internet, yeah.
And if you are going to fake something, why would you fake an orangutan?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. Maybe it's a good psychological
That's
play.
What
though,
I was thinking.
Because we're all sitting here thinking, oh, it's more plausible because she had originally said it was orangutan.
Yeah. And she's like, it could be Bigfoot. Oh yeah, you could be right actually.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, but I don't think she was looking for. I think this is a genuine picture of something, and the fact, there's so much detail in the face as well. That does not look like a mask. If that's a mask, that's a very, very good mask.
If it is fake, yeah, it is a very.
They've extremely good mask.
Put a lot of effort into it, yeah.
Photoshop. It looks too real to me, and it's terrifying. But maybe the fact it is so terrifying, it could be fake as well. They've made it look so scary.
Yeah.
I just wish it was more than a photo though, so you could get a bit more to its behaviour.
But she might have just not had the equipment. She'd obviously just a random person. She could grab a camera, whatever, boom.
Why? I'm wondering what she was doing. Did she hear something in her house? And what was her first thought to take a photo of it though?
Just to see if there's anything there.
Okay.
She wasn't expecting anything, but then she looked back at it. And
she said it was when the flash went off that she
looked at the picture. She seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's pitch black. It was night time.
Well, no, she did see it when the flash went off. It wasn't when she went and reflected, because she said she like ran in straight after that, and there was like a stench in the garden that remained for a long period of time after it had
apparently it was
gone.
very smelly.
Like a skunk, man.
This I can't remember what the thing was. This mighty skunk thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she's obviously been hearing it for a few days, and so the story goes, she'd been hearing it for a few days, and it'd been stealing food or whatever.
Yeah, they left apples out on their porch.
Like growing apples.
Fuck knows why.
I think they were growing apples, or they had something.
But they said they left them out on their porch though.
Or whatever. Anyway, there's food out there, right? And it was being. So the story goes, it had been stolen for the last few days, and she kept hearing noises, and she found this. So I think, obviously, Bigfoot in general, obviously, there's been many stories, but I think that's probably the most.
Out of all of them, the ones we've seen, that is the most plausible one.
I would say
it's
so.
not definite confirmation.
It's definitely like until you actually one day like come out like there's Bigfoot. There's no question about it, right?
Yeah.
There's like we see. I don't know like how you prove it. Like you.
I don't think we will prove it until we kill one.
Yeah, exactly. Until there's something physical that we can actually.
And the rumour's been on for so long. I'm surprised nothing's came out yet.
It could be very elusive. Like tigers exist, right? But if you go out and try to find a tiger, like in countries, you have a hard time.
At least tigers are well documented.
Yeah.
And they've made interaction with humans before. Bigfoot, we've not had that yet.
Well, it could be going extinct, and that's why it's so.
Maybe.
But I genuinely.
Well, there is an argument for it being extinct as well, because there's rumours that there was a race somewhat like Neanderthals that lived a long time ago and have become extinct, that lived in the Siberian wilderness, that adapted into these big hairy monstrous creatures, and is probably the thing that started off the whole the whole myth
rumours
about Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll make sure this book. Basically, there's.
Oh, the Ben Nevis one.
The Ben Nevis. I found this book I bought. It's quite a famous book actually. It's been around. I think it was wrote in the 80s or something like this. Basically, I bought it up in Ben Nevis, but the story's actually around Ben McDowey, which is another mountain range up there, and there'd been a lot of sightings up there from like kind of Scotland. Like these smart people. I think the first time was back in like 1800s, and when you get up there, like they hear when they're up there hiking, they hear footsteps behind them and that, and they get very kind of. Do you know that sense when you're like walking, you can feel someone watching you?
Yeah,
They get that feeling. There's like big footprints up there and that, and these are from like kind of. I'll link the book in the description if I can find it anywhere. It's a very good read. It basically describes what's happened up there, and like this guy's a journalist, and he comes to his own conclusion at the end, but he's trying to be very kind of. It's a very factual book. It's good, but basically, he gets evidence from all these different people, and like they're not just like they're actual well respected scholars or whatever, like at universities and that, and they have no reason to lie. And up that range in Ben McDowell, there has been a lot of sightings, so it could be another.
Was there anything in the book that made you like really convinced that there's something up there in Ben Nevis?
The fact that I think one guy got knocked out by something, and they woke up and obviously it disappeared, and the fact that they're coming from well respected people who they feel something watching them, they see the big footsteps and that. I'll show you after we stop recording. Like I said, I'll put it in the description. But it's another wee piece of not evidence as such, but a bit more to the lore of Bigfoot, if you will. Before we move on to the next one, I think Bigfoot. I think he does exist out there somewhere, whether he's extinct or not now. I definitely think there is something to it.
I think for me, it's just that I'll believe it when I see it properly, not mysterious photos or compressed footage. Actual proper physical evidence of it, and there's yet to be. So
I think I'm open to it, but I don't feel that anything I've seen is claritative. I don't think that's Bigfoot there. That's convinced me.
But the fact that like there's so many different cultures that have their own Bigfoot legend and that, there's got to be something to it in that sense as well. Like for decades, like obviously we're all connected nowadays, right? You can look at something from India or whatever, but back then, in those days, we weren't so connected, so the fact that all these stories from around the world have kind of popped up without interacting with each other is interesting.
I think it's interesting, but I think it's also it's quite generic Bigfoot. It's just a big hairy creature. It's not like it's got any definitive traits to it other than it's big and it's shaggy.
Well, that makes it a bit more believable rather than like dragons or whatever, or like the Mothman or whatever. It's like that's just seems like something out of a fantasy book. I like how it's dead simple, and which makes it more realistic for me.
Could be, but even different cultures have different depictions of mythical creatures like
Yeah.
vampires. Doesn't mean vampires are real.
Yeah.
It's just every culture has a different interpretation.
Yeah.
Of a myth. It could be the same for Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously Bigfoot. I think is more believable than the Essie or the Gorbals vampire, in my opinion, because I think it's got more evidence to it. It's a lot more believable for me, and just like obviously you've got gorillas out there. You've got us, for example. Like you've got humans, gorillas.
So you might think it's part of like the evolutionary chain.
I think so. It's just a missing
like
link somewhere.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. Like it's some sort of Neanderthal or something.
If it were to come out as real, that'd probably be the most plausible scientific reason for it to exist.
But I think we're spending a long time on the big man.
The big man.
The big man. We're spending enough time on the big man, so we'll move on to our final. And this is slightly different. We've talked about Nessie.
This is a real change of pace.
That's a real change of pace. I just think it's very interesting. Obviously, we've talked about Nessie, we've talked about vampires, we've talked about Bigfoot. Three kind of your normal kind of urban legends. This is not an urban legend as such. This is more like a murder mystery, right? And there's myths around it in the sense that who could it be, blah blah blah, like that kind of stuff, right? I want to talk about it. I don't know how to fit it in an episode, so I thought I'd put it in this episode, and it is the Zodiac Killer. And like we say, it is a big change of pace, but I just wanted to get this in an episode somewhere and talk about it because it's so interesting. So basically, to give you a bit of background, dear listeners, if you've never listened or never heard about the Zodiac, I'm sure you have, even if it's just by name. Basically, it started off in the late 60s and kind of ended in the 70s.
Yeah.
It was just this killer going about. He named himself the Zodiac Killer. He had 4 confirmed killings. There's lots more kind of suspected killings, but there's been definitely 4 confirmed ones.
He claimed to have 30.
Yeah, he claimed to have 30. Claimed to have over 30, but there's 4 confirmed, and he wrote these letters to the police. There's 24 letters and 1 possible letter, and I just want to kind of discuss that. And there's a few different suspects, but I think it's just one of those mysteries that is so well documented in a way that it's unbelievable that it didn't get caught.
Yeah, I know, it's quite, especially like to compare it to like Jack the Ripper, who's another famous serial killer who never got caught. Obviously, evidence in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Is there not a lot of speculation though that Jack the Ripper was
part of the royal?
Yeah, he was killing off bastards basically of royalty, so he kind of had, someone on the inside covering it all up for him.
News to me, I didn't know that. But I was saying Jack the Ripper is like another famous serial killer who never got caught. He was not identified.
No.
But obviously technology advanced in the 60s and 70s, and yet he still didn't get caught. And despite the fact he's been witnessed and all the descriptions match up as well.
He really should have been caught.
Should have been caught.
Fingerprints, you've got
saliva prints,
and it was almost
handwriting.
He was almost wanting to be caught.
Yeah, he was taught in the police.
I think it's a failure of the police that they didn't catch him. Negligence almost. I think it's just bad policing that he didn't get caught.
Well, it didn't help the fact that the San Francisco police.
Yeah.
What was that?
One of the few instances where they actually had an interaction with them.
They totally glossed over it.
Yeah.
Because they got a description for a white male and they went, yes, I'll look for a black man.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was one of the descriptions.
I don't know what. Basically, every survivor or witness of him, they all describe him the same. He was a heavy set man.
Between 5 foot and 6 foot.
5 foot, 6 foot.
Had glasses.
170 to 200 pounds.
Yeah. And he was 45 years old. All the descriptions matched. And for some reason, I don't know how this happened. They were looking for an African.
I don't know if it was a witness or the police officers that looked for an African American.
What happened was, I think it was his last confirmed victim, Paul Stein.
Yeah.
Basically, he was a taxi driver, and his passenger, the Zodiac Killer, killed him. Then a young woman heard the shot and seen him kind of escaping the scene almost.
Yeah.
And for some reason that got relayed back to the police that it was an
Well,
African American for whatever reason.
No, it didn't. They just completely misinterpret, because the report is that he's,
Yeah.
a white male, about 170 pounds, just under 6 foot, with a red hair and a crew cut.
Yeah.
With glasses.
For some reason that's the police thought that was an African American man, but this woman saw him. They scaled him again. They're looking for an African American man. So while the police are on their way to the scene, the killer, the guy, the Zodiac killer, passed him on the street.
It was either someone who looked like him or was him.
And
because one of his letters came out saying that he
passed him.
some police.
Passed
Some
the
stupid police officers saw him and went on their way.
All because of one false description, they could have actually caught him. But because obviously in that time racial prejudice was at its all-time high, and they assumed it was a black man. Oh god!
So they literally passed the Zodiac in the street, and he taunted them and the fact, right? Yeah, so he's got these letters, he's got all these things, but that's the most actual thing. Like they could have had DNA, whatever, they didn't, but they actually passed him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
And
he went on to taunt them even more.
And it could, for all we know, right? These murderers were in like the late 60s, early 70s. It could still be alive. It could still be out there. It could still be killing. I doubt it.
Doubt that. I mean, it is a slim chance, but he could still be alive. He'd be really, really old now. But...
I would say, I think the maximum age he had was like 45, right?
Yeah.
So
in his 40s.
That 70s was that 40 years ago?
50.
So it'd be like nearly. He's in the 90s.
He'd be in his 90s.
He'd be in his well 90s.
So he could well still be alive, but it's doubtful.
Yeah. It'd be really impressive if he was still killing nowadays. There's a 90-year-old just going running amok in Northern California.
But basically there was three main suspects, or three, maybe not three main, the three most believable suspects. The first one was Gary Stewart, and his son accused him of it.
Yeah.
And when you look at the evidence for him, it doesn't really kind of match the descriptions.
No.
He's not stocky enough for it, but he's got the glasses.
He has the glasses.
I think that was like when I first looked at him thinking he could be, but then they mentioned the stocky like the description. And I was like, okay, maybe not. And because in 2002 they found the saliva on one of the notes he sent to the police, and they were trying to match that up. They couldn't find the saliva match or even the fingerprints.
Yeah. But the thing is, the fact your own son's accusing you of it, that could be something to it. Like, why would you accuse your dad of being like a serial killer unless you genuinely think
for fame?
Yeah, you know how humans can be sometimes when they're like fame hungry. They'll do anything, such as accuse your dad of a serial killer.
But
my dad's Bigfoot.
My dad's Bigfoot. My dad's Nessie. but guys, I think also his son accused him that and he didn't really properly match the descriptions, and the fact, what was it? It was like, it was a book about him.
Yeah. I think there was 2 books.
There was 2 books about Gary Stewart, but I think out of the 3 we'll touch on, he was definitely probably the weakest.
The next 2 are a bit more.
The next 2 I've got a lot more to it, so we'll talk about Arthur Lee Allen.
Yeah.
Arthur Lee Allen, probably, he described a heavy set. He didn't have the glasses though, and he was bald.
But if you did see when I saw the photo, when I tried to picture him with glasses, and it did look a bit more like plausible that it was him.
Yeah, I mean, but he didn't have the hair. He's bald. He didn't have the kind of hair.
He's got a receding hairline. But you don't know when that photo was taken.
That photo. Well, depending on when the photo was taken.
When we were watching the video of it, it didn't say when the photo was captured.
That's true.
But let's say that photo was taken in present times. If it was like in the present, and you try to picture him years ago, like during the 70s and 60s, I think it could be.
It couldn't have been much later than that though, because the photo was black and white.
It was black and white, yeah.
Yeah. So.
See, I don't know how to do police officers still use black and white images? I don't see the reasons for that.
Let me get a mugshot. No, I think police nowadays they obviously use colour.
Yeah. Okay then, so that might help being against him.
But there's a lot more evidence for him. Before the Zodiac Killer in his letters even called himself.
He nicknamed himself the Zodiac.
He nicknamed himself the Zodiac, and his favourite book was... what was the name of the book again?
I can't remember the book.
I can't remember the name of the book.
Oh yeah, it was about...
Basically the book was about...
a person that hunted humans.
Humans, and the Zodiac in his letters mentioned he loved kind of talking about he loved hunting humans.
Yeah.
In his letters, and the guy, their both favourite books were about hunting humans, and in Arthur Lee Allen's fridge or freezer there was cut up
dissected animals
and there was something else in there as well.
Sexual
devices.
A very vague description.
But then in the letters the Zodiac says he prefers killing to shagging girls, basically.
Oh yeah, like he said, the thrill of killing is more than like getting your rocks off with
exactly.
a girl.
So if you're the Zodiac and you're saying that, you wouldn't exactly have sexual devices in your house, would you?
Unless you tried to have sex with him and he just thought, this is dull, I need something a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll dissect animals and start
Well,
killing humans.
It didn't elaborate on sexual devices either.
Yeah, as I said, it was a vague description.
And another part was the evidence in one of his letters. The Zodiac wanted to bomb
a school bus and then kill the children as they walk out.
Well,
and in Arthur Lee's Alan's house, they found bomb.
They did explosive devices.
Did it say he wanted to bomb a school bus?
That was a Zodiac killer writing that.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Did it say that? Because it said he wanted to shoot out the tyre and then shoot the quote-unquote kiddies as they come out the bus.
Yeah, but it also mentioned he wanted to... It was like bomb... In the letter it was like bomb.
Oh yeah, no, I
remember. And then drew diagrams.
Yeah, he drew diagrams.
He wanted to bomb up a school or whatever.
But like you were saying, the person in question, when they searched his house at a later date, I can't remember what, got them to the point where they felt like searching it a second time. They found formulas for
bombs. I mean, if that's not enough to arrest him, I don't know what is.
I know.
So, I mean, there's a lot of evidence to suggest it was him, but again, going back to the 2001 letter where he licked it, it didn't match up, but then it could be that he got someone else to do it for him.
Well, they did say that he always... Yeah, was it that guy?
That guy.
He got other people to do the letters for him. Yeah.
But this guy, when you look into him, this guy seems very quite dull, quite dumb.
Yeah.
And the Zodiac letter was like, I mean, two of them have been solved.
I don't know, maybe it's a sexual thing.
What do you mean?
Like mustache.
Well, possibly. But the fact that this guy, when you research him, he seems quite dull, he seems quite dumb. And the Zodiac letter is like, I mean, only two have been solved. I mean, that saves it all.
I know.
The Zodiac killer most likely was a very smart guy.
Yeah. Funny enough, like the first one that was solved wasn't even by the police, it was by a random couple in California.
Exactly.
Who just found it on their own. So I don't know why they, if I was the police, I would just keep going to them for all the letters.
Yeah.
Unless, I don't know how the coding worked for the Zodiac Killer. Did he change his code every time he made a new letter?
Well, he must have done that, because if it was the same one, surely they'd be able to crack the rest.
I mean, it's all based around the Zodiac, obviously, the Zodiac sign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Zodiac Killer, but they all kind of similar kind of feel to them, but obviously they're all going to be slightly different.
So what was that second guy's name again?
Arthur Allen Lee.
It'd be funny, that sounds like something out of a sitcom that the police investigating for this one serial killer and end up just finding another totally different serial killer who keeps animals in his fridge and that.
Well, what I talk about, we forgot to mention it, I think Gary Stewart, his name was Gary Stewart Jr.
Yeah.
And on the letter, I forgot to mention this the first time, on the letter, like, he says my name is, and it matched up with the length of Gary Stewart Jr. stat.
That could be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the third main suspect, that was Lawrence Kane.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of evidence for him as well. The first one also was the letter could also be seen as my name is Kane, and part of it has 3 8s. 8 times 8 times 8 was
19. It was 24.
24. 8 plus 8 plus 8, sorry, is 24.
Yeah.
And this guy was born in 1924. I mean, you're clutching at straws there, but...
Yeah. 8 times 8 times 8 is a very different result.
Yeah, 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. He's born in 24. I mean, clutching at straws there, but... The evidence for Lawrence Kane was he, again, matched the descriptions. He was a the same height, similar age, but he didn't have the kind of heavy set.
I think in his photo he did look quite... I would describe him as stocky, not heavy set, which one of the descriptions...
I think it was more than one description said he was stalking. I think it was 2.
Yeah. About the 3 descriptions from the people who saw the Zodiac or who survived these killings, all described him as heavy set.
And probably the one that made me most convinced it might be him is when he went in that... He was like... What was it? The woman in the taxi?
Yeah, so
The
basically,
woman and the baby.
basically,
Oh yes.
the Zodiac killer picks up this woman in
A child.
Chelsea.
A
They were
baby.
hitchhiking or
maybe it was
whatever.
him.
Baby
Yeah.
hitchhiking for whatever, and he was talking about how
What, he was going to kill the woman and the baby. No, she obviously went, right, nope, I'm getting out of here, jumped out. And then when they asked her to look, like, match up the photos,
it was him.
they would picked up Larry
They
Kane.
picked out him,
Yeah.
and in one of the Zodiac's letters after this event happened, he actually described that event saying, "Oh, I want to get that woman and baby."
Yeah.
That
Who
I
had
picked
it-
up had a very
very
interesting ride.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean
So
that pretty much points to him, didn't it? And the
it
fact,
does.
and the fact there's evidence as well that Lawrence Kane and all the murders, he was in the area at the time, and he lived
Oh yeah, he lived like
6 minutes away from was it the Paul Stein murder?
yeah.
He lived 6 minutes away from that, so the police obviously lost him when they were looking for him.
Paul Stein was the taxi driver.
He was a taxi
yeah.
driver,
Yeah.
so he must have been walking home or something. If it was him and he lived 6 minutes away, I mean,
Yeah, because I originally thought it was the second guy at first.
then this comes
Then
along.
that came along, especially the stuff with the taxi
Uh-huh.
ride with the woman and the baby. I was like, okay, that seems like too much of like, it can't be a coincidence at that point.
And basically Lawrence.
Unless it was a really dedicated imitator
Yeah,
who
but
managed to replicate the handwriting and all that.
A brain damaged imitator though.
Aye.
Well, the thing we should mention about Kane is that he was in a car crash that left him
yeah, I was about to mention that.
brain damaged.
Unless he had
It changed his personality.
yeah. Unless he had an accomplice who wrote the letters for him.
I mean, what was it?
Well, the other thing is the later letters seem a lot simpler
Yeah.
though in the way that they're written.
As if he was like deteriorating.
But then again, of all the letters, how do we know they're actually from the Zodiac? There could be a lot of copycat letters.
Yeah. He's missing the glasses as well.
Yeah.
Is the other thing.
I know.
All, apart from the first one, Gary Stewart, the two probably most likely ones are missing the glasses. So maybe he's putting the glasses on to confuse people, to like put them
Possibly.
off. But then again,
Did they have glasses that were just glass back in those days?
I'm sure they would have, even if he put glasses on.
They had hipsters even back in the 60s.
I'd imagine. So, I mean, you had hippies there, the original hipsters.
Yeah, I suppose.
Not killing people is too mainstream. And he start killing people.
But I want to touch on handwriting as well, because what was it? There was one. Was it? I think it was Arthur Lee, Alan Lee. Was it his handwriting that matched the killers, the Zodiac's? But,
Oh yeah,
was it his?
they said it was almost certain.
But then it turned out it was the doctor.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was not
No,
the
it
doctor.
was the
Sorry, it was
priest,
the
it
priest.
was-
Sorry,
that
Priest.
was
was
the
the
guy
first-
that was accused by his son.
That was the first one.
that was Gary
Yeah.
Stewart. So yeah, he had this.
He was accused by his son, and then his son gave them his marriage certificate, which had a piece of writing on it that said San Francisco, which was also written in the Zodiac's letter. But the priests, or
It was
sorry,
actually the priest that wrote
whoever did the document said it was the priest that actually wrote.
So it wasn't actually Gary
San
Stewart.
Fran- yeah,
So then you think, oh, it's the priest then that obviously is the killer. So the handwriting one, I think that's kind of hard to prove because handwriting could, I don't know.
It can be replicated. It just takes a lot of effort
And it
because
was,
everyone's handwriting's unique to
yeah.
each person.
And I think it was Lawrence Kane's that came up inconclusive.
Yeah.
Or was it Arthur Lee?
no, it was Kane.
it was
That
Kane,
came
yeah.
because that's
Yeah, it
the
was Kane.
only thing that they actually tested. Because they didn't test him for the saliva against the stamp. They
Yeah.
didn't test his fingerprints either. The only thing that, and it wasn't even the police that tested
Yeah.
it. It was just people that were interested in it. They tested his handwriting, and they said it wasn't a match, but it was inconclusive.
Yeah.
And obviously, people think it's a big cover up regarding the Zodiac. I mean, he killed 4 people, right? That's confirmed.
Confirmed kills.
And
yeah.
he's saying he killed so much
I
more.
think 37 or something. Was it?
37 is what he
Yeah.
claims, but
And I,
That they haven't been uncovered.
but I think the fact, see, 2001 one with the lick on it, I think that's most likely fake. Because why would you come back all these years later?
No.
Like, I think he'd done that.
They'd be a lot older and more decrepit as well.
And he'd done maybe just like maybe he knew he was going to die at that point and wanted to get caught.
Just as his last wish in his will. Please kill 50 more people.
But I think it's a very interesting.
I mean, it
case.
is impressive because, like, the fact that if he was an average American person,
Mhm.
he'd probably have, like, people who knew him, a wife,
Exactly.
job and that, and yet he still got
Exactly.
away with all this.
Hey.
Unless he was a total loner.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Which
possible.
is possible, yeah.
But like we said at the start, the police really... this is a case they should have definitely cracked.
A mixture of good deception and negligence. I think that's what got him away. Because
Okay.
he was pretty clever. He knew what he was doing.
Uh,
But then the way, as we said before, he was inviting himself to get caught.
exactly. But I mean...
And just from short-sightedness, the police didn't really...
Exactly. I mean... And the fact that they literally passed him on the street...
Well, they could have possibly passed him on the street. We don't know for a fact.
I don't know, but I think it's very likely they did.
Very likely.
And in his letters, he actually mentioned it.
And like, I don't want to blame 100% on the police because when it was first happening, there was no like rumor of the Zodiac yet.
Yeah.
It just happened, so they just put it down to just a typical murder.
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose. Like the first killing, obviously it's the first killing. You have no idea it's going to be a serial killer.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like the second couple.
Then the
that he
letters
started-
came out.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we need to put our foot down now and see what was happening, and then all get mixed up with like different interpretations and all that.
I mean, I think in the letters, I think it most likely does admit who he is, but they've been uncracked. Like we said, like 2 out of the 30 letters, 2 out of the 24 have been cracked. I mean,
Deciphered, yeah.
that I mean, you can actually find them online. Like,
Yeah.
you can have a go at yourself. Obviously, you need to know how to crack them and that, like how these things work.
It's
but,
still perplexing, even the internet age. No one's still cracked it yet.
I mean, that unless they can't be cracked, it's just a bunch of nonsense.
could
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
No logic to them.
Exactly. I mean, that could be the case, but the fact that 2 have been cracked, I think they are crackable.
No, maybe they're not even him though. It's just people
Mhm.
capitalising.
Maybe he only sent those 2 original letters, and everyone else is just capitalising on it. But I think we'll finish up there. Anything what you add on the Zodiac?
It's Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
just
it's
get
Ted
it over
Cruz.
with.
I mean, that picture is Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Speculation overtime now.
Speculation over. It's Ted Cruz.
They're just killing from the
So I want to ask you,
From
right,
beyond time itself.
out of those 3, right, who would you say is the Zodiac?
Out of the 3, I think Kane.
Kane,
I was originally going to say the second guy. I keep forgetting his name.
Arthur Lee,
Arthur Lee.
Arthur
But
Lee Allen.
the minute the stuff with the happening with the taxi and that with
Yeah.
Kane, it lean more towards him. But it's not as if I'm saying it's definitely Kane.
I'm pretty sure at one point Arthur Lee was identified as well, and I think thingy.
See, my personal theory is it's more than one person.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good theory.
Yeah.
It could be.
It seems
It
like
could
a
be
joint.
Kane and Arthur Lee.
It seems like a joint operation though.
It does.
I mean, it's really impressive that one guy managed to do all this. Just from my
But I think it's
personal
very
opinion.
possible it's one guy.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go towards... I want to say Arthur Lee Allen as well, but I don't think he's smart enough to do it. Because
Aye.
like, we actually researched him, he's not a very smart guy. He's quite dumb. But then Kane's probably got the most evidence for him.
Yeah.
But he had like mental issues and would be smart enough to do
Well,
those.
the
do
other
those
thing
letters.
is, like, when did the mental
Well-
decline begin? Because it could be he was the Zodiac killer, and then
He had an accident
and he suffered this, and then there's
and he stopped. I don't know. But I think most likely out of them, if it is any of them, it could be someone completely different.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kane as well. Lawrence Kane.
I wouldn't. I
If you had to
couldn't put
pick
my
it, there
finger on being one of the 3 of them.
But if you had to think who's most likely, the 3 main suspects, if you had to pick out the 3, who would you say?
Probably Kane.
Yeah.
I've not looked into when his accident happened and it left him brain damage, but I feel like that if it is around the same time, it could be that, you know, he was doing it coherently to begin with, then he had this accident, and then the letters became nonsensical.
Yeah.
It became uncrackable.
That's a good point.
But
I think we'll end the episode there. It's been a very varied one been quite a long one actually as well.
Yeah, quite a packed one.
Quite a packed episode.
well, we had an extra topic, and then we only had 3 last week.
That's
Yeah.
true. But it's been a jam-packed episode. Well, thank you for digging in the rabbit hole with us, and we'll dig a little deeper next time. Bye bye.
Ta-ta.
Take care.